Hello everyone, this is the real Black Otaku. I promised you in my last video that my next review was going to be a review of one of the couples mentioned. As you can see, I was not lying. For today, I'm reviewing the F series. F is actually split into two seasons. The very popular Untitled Memories and the underrated second season, Untitled Melodies. Today, I'll be reviewing both seasons. This will actually be my first side-by-side review. Side-by-side reviews will be when I review two adaptations or separate seasons of a series that are vastly different in story, characters, animation, etc. in the same video, and give each one of them their own separate individual scores for each part. In hindsight, I probably should have done that when I reviewed Evangelion several months ago, but it's a little late for that now. This is actually my first requested review, being requested by one of my personal friends, Adnan, and who requested to me via Facebook rather soon after I posted the before mentioned Evangelion review. Ironically enough, I was the one who recommended him to watch Untitled Memories. Sorry it took me so long to get to it, and I know you specifically requested a review of Memories, but I figured if I'm going to review one season, I'll review them both. Either way, here it is, and I hope you enjoy it. The story of Untitled Memories is split into two parallel storylines. One focusing on the blooming romance between a boy named Renji and a girl named Chihiro. The other being about a love triangle involving a boy named Hiro, his childhood friend Kei, and a girl named Miyako, who Hiro had just recently met. It actually switched between storylines once, twice, upwards to 3 times an episode. This split storyline might take a bit for some viewers to get used to, but once you do, you find that it is actually very well done. I won't go into too much detail about it because it gets deeper and more dramatic fairly quickly. One more point worth noting is that both storylines had happy endings, making it worth sitting through all the drama. Untitled Memories gets a score of 9 for its story. The story for Untitled Melodies follows a similar split storyline to Memories, one being set a few months after the events of Memories, the other being several years prior, making Untitled Melodies both a sequel and a prequel to Memories. In all honesty, if you were to watch Melodies for one reason, it would be for the prequel storyline. The sequel line was rather weak, suffering from numerous plot holes and giving away too much foreshadowing too early on. Melodies also jump between storylines a lot more frequently than it did in Memories, making it seem a lot more sporadic. On the bright side, both storylines had very satisfying endings. One being a happy ending, the other not so much. Other than the prequel line, the best part about Melodies is the idea that we put on these metaphorical masks in order to hide who we are or how we truly feel. Like how one could use a smile to hide sorrow, or put on a tough persona in order to hide your insecurities. If it wasn't for that, and the great prequel line, the story for Untitled Melodies would have suffered greatly, but it still manages to get an 8 for its story. The character cast for Memories is of a fairly decent size, but it focused on all the right characters. In my opinion, the male leads were not as good as I would have liked. They were simple and straightforward, but were still well written. Hiro is this manga artist who's caught in a love triangle, and has to deal with the drama that comes with it. He's good, but fairly bland. Renji was better, but he still felt rather generic. Renji is a 14-year-old boy who is unsure of what he wants to do with his future, but is a very sweet guy, and is truly selfless. Even though the male leads were lackluster, the female leads were able to carry this cast. Kei is Hiro's childhood friend. She's concerned about him, but almost to the point where she's too attached. Miyako is very energetic, to the point where it's almost infectious, but there are hints of a more tragic side to her. Finally, there is Kei's twin sister Chihiro, who, after an accident, has a memory defect where she can only hold new memories for only 13 hours. The first 2 times I watched Memories, Chihiro was hands down my favorite character from the season, but now it's actually between her and Miyako, and I really can't choose between the two of them. The 2 supporting characters I'll mention here are Yu Himura and this mysterious girl. Yu is Chihiro's caretaker, who you can tell is carrying a lot of emotional baggage. You don't know what it is, but even he himself doesn't even remember anymore. The mysterious girl shows up to most of the other characters, giving them the advice they need to hear, either cryptic or straightforward, and disappears just as quickly. She's a very intriguing character, and we actually find out more about her in Melodies. Overall, the cast was good. The male leads may have been weak, but the female leads made up for that. Taking into account 2 great supporting roles, Untitled Memories gets a score of 8.5 for its characters. The Melodies cast was also pretty good. I actually found the male leads here to be better than they were in Memories. First, we have Ikuze, who was Renji's neighbor in Memories, who has a love for his violin and music in general, but he's dealing with his own dilemma. Mizuki, Kei's best friend from Memories, also takes a main character role here. She is very energetic and carefree, but is still very caring. Hiro's elder sister Nagi also makes an appearance here. Nagi actually reminded me quite a bit of Kei from Memories. He's in both appearance and behavior, and quite honestly, that's all I'm going to say there. There are two characters that stand out the most. The first is Yu, the very same Yu from Memories, and he actually does just as good as a main character role as he did as a supporting role in the previous season. The other is mysterious girl herself, Yuko. Yuko is definitely one of the most depressing characters I have seen out of anime. I mean, she gives Lucy, Misuzu, Asuka, Hayami, and just about the entire cast of Angel Beats a run for their money. Yuko isn't just my favorite character in Melodies, but is my favorite character from F in general. Unfortunately, we were also introduced to my all-time most hated anime characters in Melodies. I won't say who he is, what he did, or which storyline he's involved in. All I can say is I want to take this knife and just stab the motherfucker and just... He might have been well written, but it doesn't change the fact that I want him to burn in hell. But quite honestly, that would be too good for all. All things considered, Melodies was able to match Memory's score of 8.5 for its characters. Both seasons of F were produced by Shaft, who are also known for Madoka Magica and the Monogatari series. Not only was it well animated, but the lighting was used very effectively. Typical of Shaft, the animation is also rather stylized at times, with regular use of silhouettes and changes in color palettes. My biggest nitpick with the animation from Memories is that I noticed several animation shortcuts. They're subtle, but you can find them if you know what to look for. Despite my nitpicks, the first season gets an 8.5 for animation. The animation for Melodies wasn't as good as I remembered, but it was actually still a step up from that of Memories. The nitpicks I had with the animation from Memories is still there, but they're not as prevalent. Special mention goes to the opening, which has different visual touches unique to each episode, something that Memories did not do. Melodies gets a slightly higher score of 9 for animation. The soundtrack for both seasons are very similar. Even though there are a few tracks that are only heard in one season but not the other, there are still several songs that are featured in both seasons. The tracks were very atmospheric, but at the time nothing really stands out. But if you go back to listen to these soundtracks on their own, you instantly think back to many of the scenes from the show, especially the really emotional ones. The opening songs for both seasons are performed by the same artist, both featuring entirely English lyrics. The best song from the soundtrack is a song called A Moon-Filled Sky, which is featured in both seasons. Both seasons get a score of 8 for their soundtrack. Untitled Memories is my first experience with pure drama, and I believe this is one of the best ones out there. It is also one of the greatest love stories I have seen out of anime, second only to Clannad. It also had me crying fairly hard in the last 3 episodes. Though it's not that hard to get me crying, most other viewers have shared the same experience. I had an amazing time watching Untitled Memories, and I'm willing to give it a score of 9 for enjoyment. In my tag video, I said that Untitled Melodies is the one anime that does not get enough love, and my opinion still stands to this day. Though it wasn't as good as Memories, Melodies completed the story and tied up many of the loose ends. Just like Memories, I was brought to tears several times while watching Melodies, most notably in episodes 6, 10, and 12. There are many sequels that really shouldn't have happened, and have ruined their respective series with their very existence, and therefore should be avoided at all costs. Most notably, Black Butler 2, along with the Strike Woods movie and its upcoming 3rd season. Untitled Melodies is most definitely not one of them. Though Untitled Melodies doesn't quite reach the level of greatness that Memories has, I still give it a score of 8.5. Both seasons have gotten very high scores overall, and I'm willing to give Untitled Memories and Untitled Melodies final scores of 8.6 and 8.4 respectively. If you enjoy romance anime, F-Tale Memories is a must-watch. If you enjoyed F-Tale Memories, I highly recommend you check out F-Tale Melodies as well. Both scenes were also loaded with symbolism in both dialogue and visuals, many of which could take multiple viewings in order to truly understand it all, but honestly that's a good thing because these have a great rewatch value. Go ahead and tell me in the comments some of your thoughts on the F-series and some of the points that I brought up here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Go check my vlogging channel Absolutely Trolling by clicking right here or in the description. This is the Real Black Otaku signing out. See ya.